getting upset, getting angry, ain't gonna do nothing. I almost was about to let myself have a bad week, but where it stopped was I did not allow myself to stay there. Now, again, I'm gonna keep it a buck, boo, because this podcast is raw, transparent. We ain't with the fake stuff. Okay, bitch, it's time to get out of this woe is me, sad, I'm not gonna go for a walk, I'm gonna ruin my goals vibe over something that has happened. You have no control over it. It is what it is. Let it go. You cannot stay there. Welcome to That Scary with Meloney P. I'm your girl, Meloney P, and we are here to have a conversation. So if you're listening to this when it comes out, you're listening to this on a Monday, and I want to do a That Scary quickie with you guys. You know, consensual, of course. I like to do podcast episodes, little quickies that can help you. You know, everything is not about the glitz and the glamour. People be having good days and bad days, and people do not show their bad days. And it's not even about a bad day, but people don't show the ebbs and the flows. People don't show the ups and downs. They only show you the ups. And I really want to do a whole episode on, you know, the falsities and the fakeness of social media and how it's affecting people, not just young people. It's affecting old people too, because everybody is comparing, and I am right there with them, just not as bad as some people. It is Monday, and I woke up in a odd mood. I had an amazing weekend. I went to Wilmington with my brothers, all except for one, two of their wives, and my mom, my aunt, and it was really, really, really great. And it made me think of the importance of family and the importance of being around people who fill your cup. A common conversation that we have on the podcast is about empty cup, pouring from an empty cup, having a filled cup, you know, pouring in other people's cups and nobody ain't pouring into your cup. And so often people that you are passing on the street, your friends, your family, your sister, your brother, they can be either filling somebody's cup, depleting somebody's cup, or with an empty cup themselves. And that analogy is so fitting, because if you have an empty cup, child, you can't help nobody. If you're thirsty, you have nothing to drink. Your cup needs to be full. So I was able to go to Wilmington, and I really don't go as often as I should. I'm gonna go again either this week or next week with the girls, but going to Wilmington, just going home, going to your home base is so rejuvenating. You know, it's funny because my partner was saying that, oh, you know, you call Wilmington your home, but that's really not your home. You haven't lived there in like 20 plus years. But it's so interesting how people, like different people who grew up different ways, see things. Wilmington, for me, where I was born, the home that I lived in for all my life, that is home. That will always be home for me.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing.
Anyway. But yeah, home for me, yeah, when I think of home, honey, I think of a place where there is love overflowing, and that is home for me. And home can be in two places. I can have home where I actually live on a day-to-day basis. I can have home that I actually own as my home. And then my ultimate home to me is going home where I was born. So it's so important to go home. It's so important to visit family and just kind of be able to have that rejuvenation experience, you know, days, just being able to rejuvenate is so important. When I was home, you know, we have one of the things that I admire most about my family is that we have the beautiful luxury to get together, have a couple of drinks, eat great food, and you know what we always end up doing is having conversation, and not just how's the weather or who's playing in hockey today, but we have engaging, healthy conversations. What's going on in y'all life? What's going on in their marriage, and nothing that is intrusive, but all healthy, respectable conversation. Like, I think it's just the coolest thing when, like the last night I was home, which was Saturday night, I got to go to dinner with my mom, my aunt, and my brothers and everything. And you know, when we got back home, we started playing spades. We started having some drinks and the conversation was flowing. And my oldest brother, you know, he is almost 60, which is very much older than me. And he's the oldest, obviously. And he's full of so much wisdom. And I have been begging him to come on the show because he is the big brother who's been overseas, been in the military, been married, been divorced, you know. Because he's so much older than us, he has a level of wisdom that is invaluable to us. And especially having him as a brother and, you know, a brother to a sister, the amount of wisdom, especially that he's able to give us, especially now that our dad is not here, is just invaluable. And I would really want like my listeners to hear some of the advice and the tips and the direction and guidance, you know, he's given me. Now, again, our family is not perfect. My brothers are not perfect by far, but we're pretty darn close in my eyes. But anyway, we were having great conversation and I really admire, like, if you know me, you know that I love some good communication. I love some debate. I like to learn. I like to hear people's perspectives. You know what's orgasmic for me? What's orgasmic for me is conversation where people are talking. People are probably not agreeing, but they're still able to hold it together, talk to each other respectfully, learn something new, hear different perspectives, and that is just orgasmic for me. And that's what we had this weekend. Now, I will say, after I left Wilmington, when I was driving home or riding home, because I didn't drive, you know, when I came back home, I started to feel that, I don't know, I just started to feel something. I started to feel, what is a word I can say that I feel comfortable with saying? I was feeling great driving, but when I got home, I'm just keeping it up with y'all. The house was a mess. The house was destroyed. The house was a mess, destroyed, a mess, whatever. And I'll just leave it at that. And that cup that was filled, honey, was just emptied. And here's why I'm saying this, because, you know, it's so easy to get on here and talk about good, happy, we eating out, we doing this, we living our life, we cook, you know what I'm saying, cooking on the grill, whatever. But here's the reality of life. Got home, house was a mess. And when I say house was a mess, I don't mean just a little yin yang stuff, you know, a little stuff here, little stuff. It was like my almost 2-year-old was here by herself and took a air pressure hose or something and just blew shit everywhere with no guidance, child. And when I opened that door, I just felt like if my body was a visible gas tank, it was just going down. So what I did was I breathed. I took some deep breaths. I was like, what's going on? What happened here? Whatever. I found myself going to a place of rage internally, but I did not let what was going on internally come out of my mouth or anything else. I just kept it in there. I breathed and I said, you know what, girl, take a deep breath. You know, what's done is done. It is what it is. And then I sat on the couch, got myself together, calmed myself down. I took some deep breaths. I was on social media and I saw where Sanaa Lathan, and I love how the celebrities are talking about their, you know, mental health, I don't want to say issues, but just their mental health period, and making it, you know, cool again to talk about real life and not just the glamour shit. I love that. So Sanaa Lathan was on social media and she was saying how when she has anxious moments or when she deals with her anxiety, she does this thing where she takes a very deep breath and then another deep breath while she's taking that first deep breath and then let it out. And I've heard about that technique before, but she kind of put a little bit of a twist on it, and it's really been helping me. So I did that, honey. I was on the couch taking my deep breaths, blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Then I started feeling myself getting overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, girl, because I'm looking at all the mess. I'm looking at all the mess. So I went outside. I have a playlist on Spotify called Sunday Mood that I just happen to find. I can put it in the description if you want to hear. And I went outside, got into the environment, got into the sun, played that music. What else did I do? I just sat there and just kind of I just let God's environment and nature do its thing to recharge me, to ground me, to getting upset, getting angry ain't gonna do nothing. You had a full cup, and now you're kind of back in reality, and now your cup is kind of drip dropping. And here's the thing. I allowed myself to feel those feelings. I allowed myself to feel the feelings. I didn't try to fake it till I make it. I didn't try to just, okay, everything's great. Nope, didn't do that. I allowed myself to feel the feelings. I allowed myself to just be human. But where it stopped was I did not allow myself to stay there. Now, again, I'm going to keep it a buck, boo, because this podcast is raw, transparent. We ain't with the fake stuff, right? I allowed myself to feel it. I did not stay there, but I did go back in. I didn't clean up because it wasn't on me to clean up. Lay back down. My baby was asleep at the time, so I waited for her to get up, and I just watched TV. For me, typically TV and food are the things that I can use to decompress or to comfort myself, which might sound bad, but I did not use food, right? Because I'm on this weight journey. So I did not use food to comfort myself, but I did use TV. I'm not addicted to TV, but I use TV to kind of just, what's going to make me relax that I can do in this moment. So I watched TV, play with my baby, put her to the bed. All that time I was very much in a fuck you space. I was very much in a empty cup space. I was very much in a woe is me space. You know what I'm saying? I was very much in a numb space. Then I went to bed. I said, you know what? I'm going to take me a hot shower, put on some night clothes, watch a little Tik Tok, Instagram, yang, and I'll just go to bed. And you know what? Allow myself to feel and get up. Now, the goal was when I got up, it was to feel rejuvenated because I've been doing really good last week on getting up, having a plan, saying my affirmations, saying my prayers, having a plan for my day. And when I got up this morning, one of my neighbors was like, hey, let me know your schedule if you're open to go for a walk today, which is great, right? But I felt myself already in the mindset and the residue of yesterday evening. And I found myself saying in my head, I ain't going for no walk. I'm just going to lay here in bed. I'm going to just, be on my woe is me. And I'll just, start fresh tomorrow, or I will just ease into the day. And then as I was doing that, I, again, having a good community, having a good circle of friends. My friend had sent me a text, and then I was sending her an audio of what happened or whatever. And we were having just a conversation. And as I was releasing what was in me out in a safe place, as I released it, it's almost like something catapulted and jerked me back into, okay, bitch, it's time to get out of this woe is me, sad, I'm not gonna go for a walk, I'm gonna ruin my goals vibe over something that has happened. You have no control over it. It is what it is. Let it go. You cannot stay there. So I was about to allow me to start my Monday on some woe is me mess, miss my morning walk, be on some just woe is me. And I'm like, girl, no. And so talking to my friend, getting that out, and then us kind of pouring into each other over audio, it filled that cup back up. It filled that cup back on up. And I got out of bed. I cleaned up. And then I had to think to myself, okay, what is going to help further catapult me back into good energy, good vibes, Meloney P, because that's just what I am. And I say, you know what? I got my podcast, which is like so important to me. Baby girls at daycare, other baby girls at work. So boom, podcast. What are my goals? And I just catapulted, just jerked myself back into good energy, good vibes, filled cup. What makes Meloney happy? My podcast, my goals. I got a list of things that I'm trying to accomplish. That is where I put my focus. I turned on some affirmations. I turned on some motivational conversation on YouTube. I put on YouTube, I'm really big into my visualization bag. So I'm trying to visualize the life that I want. And so I put on YouTube a beautiful beach property visualization, and I watched that. I listened to my affirmations on my phone, visual on my TV, and I was getting up, boom, boom, boom. Made myself a list, played some good music after that, cleaned, and then I purposely jerk myself back into good vibes, good energy. What's the plan? Goals, new week, fresh energy, everything good, everything good, everything good. I jerk myself back into there. And I say all of this to say, I almost was about to let myself have a bad week. But again, I talk about therapy a lot because I finally have found a really good therapist. And one of the things my therapist said to me recently is that, and this is really biblical. If you can control it, focus, whatever you control, focus on the things that you can have control over. If there's something happening that you have no control over, you have no control over it. So allowing your feelings to, take control, or allowing yourself to be upset or be whatever in a low frequency, in a low space because of something that happened yesterday or something that happened last week or last month, how is that serving you? How would that serve me to just mope around all morning? It would not, because I moped around the previous day. Now, I allowed myself to feel it. I allowed myself to be on some low frequency, but I did not allow myself to stay there. And that shit wasn't super easy. But I think that when we have a situation or have something going on, we have to be purposeful about pushing ourselves to the positive. What's going right? We know things ain't going, some things are not going right. We know some things are not going right, but what things are going right? Some things could be going wrong, or maybe not as we would want them to go, but what is going right? What do we have control over? What can we change? How can we change our way of thinking? How can we change our way of walking into this Monday, walking into this day? Like, what can we do mentally? Because it all starts mental. It is the conversation with, whoever that is in your head. It's that conversation. Because on one, there's a devil and an angel. Well, I don't call it a devil because that's too much. But there's two different voices. And you have that voice that's like, stay in your feelings, girl. Stay down. Stay low. Just ease into it. Don't go for no walk. Why go for a walk? Why be in nature? It feels so good to be in this bed. It's dark outside. Oh, just stay here. It's going to feel good. And we'll just see what happens. Play it by ear. Then you have that other voice that's like, okay, girl, you stayed there long enough. It's Coach Meloney. Get up. Let's get started. How you start the week is a big thing. Start the week off strong. Don't let nothing put you in a bad space. And I wanted to record this episode because I know it's going to help somebody. And I know that this is a common thing now. Mine was about coming back to a dirty home, whatever, not dirty, but just an unorganized 2-year-old out of control home. But some people are coming home to no lights or no food, or again, that's a stretch because, that's difficult. But I don't know, other things that could be bigger than that or smaller. So it's like, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? We know the stuff that you can't do. We know you can't go back in time and, do whatever you can to avoid what you're walking into. Okay, it's already done. You don't have control over everybody. You have control over yourself. You have control over how you think. You have control over how you let circumstances and situations affect you. You have a lot of power there. But it's so like us, and it's such in a human nature to just think of the few things we don't have control over and ignore the whole world that we actually do have control over, and the things that we can change, and how we can motivate ourselves and talk to ourselves. And even if you don't have nobody to audio message or whatever, talk to yourself. Talk to yourself, because that's what I did. Even when I got off the audio with my friend, I talked to myself, girl, get up. Like, there's not life. That's not how life works no more. Like, there is no more starting fresh tomorrow, starting fresh, next Monday. Start fresh today. All right, guys, listen, happy Monday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I got a really interesting show coming up for you this week about Joy Chavis and her baby daddies. But listen, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment and engage with me in the That's Scary with Meloney P family in the comments below. And I will see you in the next episode.